Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here. And in today's video, I am joined by none other than Deezy, the producer of the Around the Blockchain show over on the BitBoy crypto channel. I've gotten to know him very well over the last 9 months that I've been collaborating with the BitBoy team and that I've been going on ATB. Deezy, it is a pleasure to finally have you on our channel. How are you doing, man?
It's a pleasure to be here, man. It's good to be on the other side here. I
Yeah, I
like
know
it.
it's funny. I was saying right before we went live, I'm normally the one in the hot seat. You're normally the interviewer. The table. Oh, how the turns have tabled today, I suppose you could
Yes.
say. I got to ask you a question real quick. I know that Ben had something to do with the Hellcat that was alleged. Is that what that speed limit sign behind you? What is that? What is that a reference to? Is that a reference to anything?
I guess it's just an old sign. So we're above a building that does signage, and
Oh, okay.
there's cutouts of like Danica Patrick and Olsen twins and like LeBron James. Just so I think it's just a placeholder. And then
Gotcha.
someone when we were developing the station as a ATB like area, someone saw the sign and said, "Hey, throw that up."
That's really cool. I've always wondered if that was because I know Ben got a speeding ticket at one point with the Hellcat. I was wondering if that or the Demon, and I was always wondering if that was like you guys went and like got a copy of the sign or anything. But anyway, guys, in this interview, I really want to dig deep into Deezy's past, how he got into cryptocurrency, and bring to light a little bit about his story with the BitBoy team. I know you guys, most of the people watching this are subscribed to BitBoy Crypto. If you're not, you definitely should. Links are down below, and follow Deezy on Twitter. But I want to hear, Deezy, how did you first get into cryptocurrency? Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like?
Yeah, I heard about crypto years ago. I mean, Bitcoin was, 10 to 50 bucks and never pulled the trigger. I was always kind of on the sidelines. And my buddy, he was using a little Silk Road and he was like, "Yeah, man, you got to try it." And then shortly after that, Mount Gox got hacked. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." And plus I learned about it from 4chan. So I was just so leery about, hackers and downloading drivers and wallets. I was like, I don't know. The whole thing seems like a scam. And then my buddy, the same guy, he lost a bunch of Bitcoin just by like not remembering a password or something. So I was just like, it kind of kept me on the sidelines. I was like, it was so it was always like in my orbit, but I wasn't really invested in it. And then I got a little more interested around 2017. I started tracking it, and I was probably looking at it at like under 5,000, and then I saw it reach 5,000, and then I saw it reach 10,000, and then I saw it reach 15, and then it had the blow up top of around 20. So the whole time I was like looking into it, I learned more about the halving schedule and the supply and demand economics and how the miners dump. So I said, I'm not going to buy now. I would just be FOMOing in. I was like, I learned about this, how it goes down. I was like, I'm going to jump in the bear market. And sure enough, like probably around mid 2018, late 2018, early 2019, that's when I just started DCAing into crypto. And so it was always on my radar. I didn't really jump in until probably 2018, as far as put my money where my mouth is.
Dang, so you've known about Bitcoin since it was $5 or $10.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have any from back then, or was the first time
No,
you
no, I
bought into
didn't buy
crypto
it.
in
The whole thing
2018?
just I was so sketched out, and I had a good job, so I was making good money, which is even worse because the amount I could have bought would have been nuts. So I was just always so worried about hackers and just didn't want to, put out my information. Everything about 4chan was real sketchy. And this was like, pre, what it devolved into. This was around like the Scientology stuff. So I was in 4chan like super, super early. And I was just like, I don't trust any of these guys. I'm not gonna download this mining thing, and I wasn't like super into computers that much anyways. So I just kind of stayed away. And I mean, obviously, it would have been pretty nice to buy a bunch of
Sure.
sub $50 Bitcoin, but better late than never, you know what they say.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. No, the reason I ask you because I know a lot of people that have the same story in crypto. They got into crypto, they didn't buy for 3 or 4 years because they were worried about it, and now they're living with this baggage and this regret. Since you've kind of lived through that, I don't know if you have baggage and regret about it. Do you have anything that you can say to those people that knew about crypto when it was a buck and now they're beating themselves up? Is that something that you have any advice for them about?
Man, I would say do what I did and just, learn about the halving schedule. I mean, I still believe we'll have a bear market. I don't think the drawdown will be the 90%, but I think there will be a drawdown. And just keep monitoring it, keep following it, watch it closely. And then when there's a level that's low enough for you to be comfortable with, start just DCAing. I think my first purchase, embarrassingly enough, was a little XRP. I remember I was ready to I remember I was like, okay, now's the time. I'm gonna buy my first crypto. I got my Coinbase, I'm good to go. And then I started looking at the prices, and just like everybody, and I was aware of market caps. I was like, I'm fully aware of it, but I was just like, I don't know. This XRP is just so cheap. I'm gonna
It's
buy
just a
that
dollar.
instead. So I mean, it was my first purchase.
I remember my first purchase. I don't remember the day, but I remember what I bought. It was in August of 2017. It was 40. It was I bought a quarter of a Litecoin at $41.02. I forget the day, but it was in August of 2017. Well, let me point it this way. You've been in crypto for a while now. Then when did you come to meet BitBoy and the BitBoy team? Because as I take it, you've been around them for quite some time. How
Yeah,
did
we're
that
going
happen?
on close to 6 months at this point. I think I started with the 5th month, like so around May, early May.
Really? I thought you'd been there
I
longer. You started in May?
Early May, yeah.
Huh.
Maybe it was April. Maybe it was April. But yeah, not that long. It might have been April actually. But so I'd
Huh.
watched Ben, it was, one of the channels I watch. I first saw him on TikTok in 2020. So I'd seen him. He was the CEO of Facts. So when he popped up on my YouTube, I was like, hey, it's that guy, so I started watching it. And just like a lot of people, so I had a job in content creation, but it wasn't crypto. I was a I was a Magic the Gathering streamer. So I was a
There you go.
professional Magic the Gathering player.
Cool.
And, I had an esports team I was on. I had sponsors. So, Twitch streaming was my full time job. And I was streaming 7 days a week, just like a lot of the top streamers do, like on Twitch, it's a lot harder than YouTube as far as,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of time you're in front of your computer. So I just started watching, a little bit of Ben, a little bit of Martini Guy, Crypto Capital Venture. I'm watching all these people, and my just obsession with crypto just kept growing and growing. And next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the weekend off so I can like catch up on my YouTube videos. And then it was just like, I'm gonna end my stream a little bit earlier. I'm late watching. And then it was like, I'm gonna push the start of my stream till the after Ben's morning stream. So my focus was just like increasingly crypto. And so when I saw that they were gonna develop a trading card game, I just instantly started reaching out to them. I was like, hey, I'm a pro Magic the Gathering player. I'm good. I'm in content creation. I would love to join your team and help out with this. And they said, well, we got a meetup. Come by and talk to us. And shortly after, a buddy of mine, BJ, you're familiar with BJ,
Yep.
he started working there. So I went to the
Hey.
meetup, talked to BJ. I was like, well, shoot, now I know a guy. And they're like, yeah, I mean, come on by, in a couple weeks. We'd love to talk to you. And I was watching one of the evening streams, and it was Ben and I think Justin, or Ben and TJ talking, and they said, yeah, this Deezy guy, I think he's going to start here next week.
Huh.
And I was just like, oh my God, I guess
I
this
am.
is real. So I like literally packed my car that week and just drove down to Atlanta. And I had a plan B if it didn't work out, but so I stayed in a hotel for a couple weeks, and yes, things ended up working out. And my third day here, they gave me a new position. They're like, well, we're gonna shelve the card game for a while because right now the bull market is heating up. There's just other things we think you would be good at. And so my third day, they gave me a promotion essentially and said, all right, you're producing around the blockchain now. So boom. I mean, I hit the
There you
ground
go.
running here basically.
That is awesome. I had no. When did ATB officially launch? Because I thought that you'd been. Frankly, I thought you'd been there the entire time. I didn't know you
Maybe
came in
I would have
mid-show.
guessed April because it was my second week we had the show running. So I would guess
Yeah,
like late April or whatever it was, somewhere
that's
around
right.
there.
For some reason, I forgot. I've been one of the original people on there. I forgot that it wasn't going before I joined. That's interesting. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, BJ works behind the scenes. He's awesome. You just don't see him on camera much.
His job title is technical director.
He's the
So he's
technical
the one that's
director.
like saying
Yep.
go to camera one, go to
Yep.
camera two. He doesn't say it, he just does it. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where he jumps in at.
Yeah, for everybody on our team, on our channel, Smay is our producer and technical director. He has both of those roles because it's just the same thing for us. So there you go. Cool. Well, let me ask you this, and we're going to get into a couple of crypto questions here in a little bit, but I really want to make sure the audience gets to know you. I asked this to everybody. I remember one time, like 5 times, I was in what do you call it? Where you're a tow truck. I was in a tow truck, and I asked
Mhm.
this tow truck driver, "What's the craziest thing that you've ever hauled on this flatbed tow truck?" And he told me it was a push mower, and I was like, "That's hilarious." So he's got this like 40-foot long tow truck, and he said it was a push mower. So I always ask people this question, Deezy, what is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you while working with the BitBoy team?
Craziest thing to me, it's not so much like, oh man, this was so wild. It was I was flabbergasted by the percentage of people who would go up to Ben and say, "You have changed my life." I have, I put $10,000 of some money aside in January or December of last year, and we set it aside, and now me and my wife can retire early because of you, Ben. And so seeing the percentage of people who are just saying like, my life has changed. You've changed my life. You've given me financial freedom. I knew it happened to some people, but just seeing like the outpouring of support and love, and just they're just almost awestruck, like, you've saved us. You've saved me from working a job that I hate. You've saved me from breaking my back, busting my hump, doing this job I don't like. So I was just surprised by the percentage of people who were like, "You've made such a big impact on my life, Ben. I just got to shake your hand and thank you." And seeing that in person, it's almost it's very humbling.
Well, Deezy, I have another question for you. How has
Yeah.
cryptocurrency affected your life? You've been here for going on 8-9 years. You've obviously had a long tenure here in the cryptocurrency market. What have you seen change the most about your own life now that you've been here for this long?
Well, it's always good to have money. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in crypto for one reason, we could say we love the tech, but like at the end of the day, we like our portfolio balances to go up. So, there's a little bit of money in Magic the Gathering, but there seems to be a little bit more money in crypto. And so, I mean, my life is it's crazy to me. My boss bought a Lamborghini the other day. That's wild. Later, in less than a month, I'm going to have to host the morning stream. I'm going to fly to Vegas for a meetup, shake hands, hang out in Vegas for the night, fly back to Atlanta, and go straight from the airport to the Falcon Stadium, and then in a presidential suite watch Metallica. And so like that's going to be my weekend, about 3 weeks from now. And that is just so mind-blowing to me. It's like, what is life? And fortunately, like working with Ben, he's the big star here. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely second man. So I don't have like any kind of airs of, "Ooh, look at me, do you know who I am?" So hanging around in Ben's orbit, keeps me grounded for sure. Just because he's a BitBoy, I'm just some rando is how I look at it. So, it's like staying grounded while at the same time this life is just so crazy. And I don't know, I just try to take the time to enjoy things.
That is so cool. I think you're a good example of what can happen when you stick the course and you stay with something for a long time, because obviously you've been looking at crypto for at least 8 years. And,
Yeah.
a lot of what you're talking about has happened in the last 6 months. I think there's a lesson that people can take away from that and know, hey, 7.5 years. This stuff was happening, but it wasn't what you're talking about now. Everything that you guys are looking for, those of you watching this, like, hey, look, it's gonna take time. I've been working in the space every day for 4 years, and now we're just starting to get to the place where it's like, man, this thing's blowing up. It's really cool,
Yep.
and I just encourage everyone to have patience. And that kind of leads me into my next point. And then I have one final question for you, Deezy. I've been in the space for 4 years, and I have witnessed the market change so dramatically. You were paying attention back in 2017 when you got in, a year before you got in. Things have changed so much in this time. Where do you think cryptocurrency is going in the next 4 to 5 years, considering what you've seen in the last 4 to 5 years?
I think we're going to have more adoption. I think we'll have more people owning it, but I have always overestimated people's ability to grasp the fundamentals. So I think we'll see a lot of a higher percentage of retail investors. Right now, we got the people who are passionate about it. And there's some people who are just like kind of into a little Doge or into a little Shiba. But if you go to a Bitcoin meetup in Miami, we're all diehards.
Yep.
So I think we're going to see diminishing percentage wise of the people who are just like, do love the tech, do love the decentralization, like know about, Satoshi and supply. And then we're just going to get a higher percentage of, normies, for lack of a better term. And, that's fine. As more of these apps, these Robinhood allow you to hold it, and Coinbase and PayPal and Square. And as more and more of users, do have crypto, we're going to see more of the retail investor. So, I mean, as a whole, I don't want to say the IQ, but the understanding of the average holder will lower, but there will be more holders. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, like, I mean, is there going to be more safeguards in place? Or more people going to get their crypto hacked? Or are more people going to lose everything by sending something to an address, just by, a higher percentage of people who are just kind of like just dipping their toe in the water? They're not ready to jump into the orange pool called Bitcoin just yet. But, maybe they want to have a little Ethereum, Coinbase has a thing with NFTs. So, let me move some Ethereum over. Wait a minute, I just lost $2,000. So I think we're going to see more of that, and it's interesting to see like, is that going to manifest itself as more people complaining and saying it's a scam, or maybe trying to get their politicians to step in with consumer protection, or maybe a high percentage of these people start reading white papers or looking into other chains. So I don't know how to try to predict that, but it's something that I'm just interested to watch develop.
I think you're absolutely right. I've said on Around the Blockchain several times. I think we're in the middle of the start phase of a sigma curve, an S curve of growth and adoption. Normally there's an inflection point around 13-14% where things start going parabolic, and I think we're probably around 5 to 7%. I think once Bitcoin hits around like 100, 150, $200,000, we have more and more companies get in. We're going to see this turning point, and like you said, there's going to be a bunch of normies getting into crypto, which is great. Like, we want that. That's how we go mainstream. There's no negative connotation to us saying that. I want to be clear on that, but that is going to change the demographics of cryptocurrency. There's a major demographic shift coming up, and that's something that I think a lot of people aren't thinking about. So that's a really astute observation. But I want to ask you one final question. This is something I ask every single one of our guests, because I think it is the one question that is absolutely vital that anybody who is new to cryptocurrency hears the answer to from people that have been there, or their elders, if you will, that have been in the space for a little while. Deezy, if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who has been in the cryptocurrency space for less than 30 days, what would it be?
Accumulate and don't sell at first. Now, I mean, we may be running into a blow off top in the next couple months. So, I want to be careful to say like, don't sell your crypto, but almost everybody, and you may be probably experienced this as well. Almost everybody we talk to in crypto sold some early.
Yep.
And they regret it these days. And it's almost universal. Like, I don't think I've met almost anybody who said, yeah, I haven't sold in 7 years. I was working a job and I just spent my fiat. No, everybody sold some Doge under a penny, or Bitcoin under 1,000, or Ethereum under 500, or some Shiba when it first came out. So almost everybody has a story of, yeah, I sold a little too early. So that would be my main advice, is just, look into, tokenomics, look into the Bitcoin halving schedule, and just hold on to your crypto. Like, I mean, you might want to, go travel or something, and that's fine, or fix a car that you have some engine issues, or, maybe your heater's going out of your house and you have to sell some crypto. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who see it go up 30%, 40%, or doubles, and they panic sell, and then they blow that money. They go out and they get a fancy brunch a couple weekends, and next thing you know, you look back and you're like, wow, I sold that Ethereum for what now? And I got my own story, and I don't know if you got your own story. I mean, did you sell some cheap crypto back in the day?
I did. Actually, the funny thing is, the first time that I ever sold cryptocurrency into fiat out of the market was about 3 weeks ago. So I sold some into other projects that I wish I wasn't in, but I never cashed anything out of crypto. I moved some things into other projects. I'm like, crap, that project didn't do well. But actually, I'm one of the few people who didn't.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I don't.
It's very rare.
Definitely the exception. You don't hear that. Yeah,
I am the exception.
So yeah, that would be my main advice. Is just if you can hodl, hodl. I mean, we're in this for the long haul, and I'm not saying we're immortal beings and never sell your Bitcoin and take it to the grave. I'm definitely not saying that, but I'm just saying be patient with your crypto. That's my number one thing. Be patient with your crypto.
That's phenomenal advice. And look, guys, my final closing thought on that is, it is important that you have different portfolios set up, and that you don't think about crypto as just one big portfolio. And Deezy, I'd love your opinion on this. The way that I look at it is, I have an investment portfolio, and that is money that I put in, never take out. Of course, you're not going to die with it. Hopefully you'll spend that in 20 or 30 years or whatever. But then you have your trading portfolio. That's what you're screwing around with over on, an exchange, trying to make trades, swapping around from, Shiba to Doge or whatever. And then you have your cash balance so that you can buy the dips anytime that you see fit. And I've found that if you have a certain percentage of your portfolio, maybe it's not all of it like mine, but a certain percentage of it where you literally never sell it, then you're going to say, I missed out over here with the trading, but at least over here in my investment portfolio, at least I didn't sell the top on that. My strategy and philosophy has always been buy the dips, don't sell the tops. But if you think that there's a top and you want to sell and you want to cash out, that's all to you. I'm just saying that's my strategy. But I think it is important that everybody have at least some that they're never going to touch.
That's a good strategy. That requires a little bit of discipline. And for those who lack the discipline, I like the crypto window strategy, where you put in an investment, And once it doubles, if it doubles or it goes up 80% or 300%, and sometimes 1,000%, you pull out your initial investment.
Perfect.
And then reinvest that. And what she calls them her moon bags. Yep. And that way you get your initial investment out. You're not losing any money. And now you got your little moon bag. So I like that strategy too.
I love that. I've told people to do that with things like, what was it, Safe Moon. I told somebody like, okay, you want to play in Safe Moon? Play it safe, pull your principal out and play with the house money, you know? So, well, Deezy, it was phenomenal having you here on the channel. I've been looking forward to this for the last couple of weeks. Guys, make sure to go and follow Deezy. Deezy, where can they find you?
I would just say on social media, Deezy, DEEZY _BTC. BTC used to be MTG, but I've turned my back. I've turned my back on the Magic the Gathering.
Oh, man. Turned over a new leaf, opened a new chapter, started a new white paper. Guys, make sure to go and follow Deezy on his social media account. And obviously, make sure to tune in to the BitBoy Crypto channel at 5 o'clock or 5:01, 5:02, 5:03, somewhere probably about 5 o'clock normally on the BitBoy Crypto channel, where you will find Deezy and Ben and all of us having fun over and around the blockchain. Guys, that's all I got for you today. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single one of you, including Deezy, for watching and being here as always. And I will see you guys in the next
Hit that subscribe
video.
button.
And subscribe. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.